place. I'm doing fine, I'm feeling great. You're not my fan, you can't relate. Straight talk going, stay not safe. Before you cross me, look both ways. Leaving the scene with no trace, none in my league. You out of place, I'm not at the top, I'm outer space. Can't eat with us, we're out of place. I'm doing fine, I'm feeling great. You're not my fan, you can't relate. Straight talk going, state to state.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your host, your boy, George Mackay, back here in the Straight Talk Studios. Now, this is close to the end of September when this bad boy is going to drop, and I got somebody special. I got somebody who loves to bust my chops every time he sees me at a show. Somebody who loves to tell me that I only put people on my show when I'm involved in the show that they're in, which is not true. But please help me welcome the Bonecrusher, Steve Brown, to Straight Talk Wrestling. Finally. So let's talk about how this came to fruition, because you were always on one of my bucket lists, and just every time I would set out, okay, I'm gonna message Steve, something else would trickle down the pipeline, and it wasn't that you were pushed to the side, it's just life got in the way, this and that. And I tried to explain that at the show, but you made me feel this big when you're like, hey George, how come you don't put NSW on your podcast? And I was like, what? I love NSW, man. Come on.
I get it too, though. Like, we're in Hamilton. Hamilton's not really your area.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
so
true.
I get it, but
you get it. But I still every time I can, I had Del Bruno on the show, bigging up the awesome match that you booked with Alex Shelley, which I did catch clips of and stuff like that, which is a phenomenal match. And I guess that's my first question is, being in the business for 20 years, you built up relationships and you've got a great rapport, and you're a fantastic person both in and out of the ring. In the ring, you're an absolute behemoth. You smash dudes around like a motherfucker, but outside the ring, you're one of the nicest dudes on the planet, and I'll say that. I hope that doesn't. I'm not breaking kayfabe, am I? Am I breaking kayfabe?
Don't let everyone know I'm actually a nice guy.
Okay, I'm fucking it all up then. I'm sorry.
No,
but 20 years developing relationships, and then NSW on top of that as well, plus having your own great in-ring career here in the Indies in Ontario. Getting somebody like Alex Shelley, a dream match for Del Bruno, as a promoter and a booker, but also somebody who's been a fan of this business and in this business for 20 plus years and a fan for longer than that. I mean, to see one of your friends get their dream matches, get a tip of the hat for somebody that they've been wanting to face forever and had opportunities, but then COVID fucked it up, this and that. What was that like for you to call Del Bruno after you got off the phone with Shelley and you booked it, and you called him and said, guess what? It's happening.
Well, I always kind of would say it to him, like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna book you for Shelley. And he'd always be like, you know. And then I think at first he didn't really. He thought I was kind of messing with him, I think. But as it got closer and closer, and I would what I would do is like every time I'd we'd have everything with Alex Shelley was through email. And every time we'd just do a little exchange, and it was something like super, like first of all, every dealing I had with him was super positive. But when it was something really, really good, I'd just screen cap it, send it to Del Bruno. And like his classic line, like, especially to me and O'Shea, is always like, if we tell him something, then he just goes, no. And like he would respond back with like no, and all these it was awesome. But I have to admit, when I saw that Crossbody did it, they announced it, I was so like, oh man, like that was like not only just a dream match for him, like it was a dream match that I wanted to put together. You know, like they always say don't meet your heroes and stuff like that, but it's kind of different in wrestling, you know. And if you like have someone that's like your idol and is your favorite wrestler, and he can still go, and there's a possibility that you guys can still like be in the ring together, you know, like somebody, you see someone's coming up and they love Andre the Giant, they never are going to have an opportunity to wrestle Andre the Giant. You know what I mean? So like with Shelley, like he came back like about a year ago, like full time, and like it was going super strong, and it was what would they say? All the stars were in alignment, you know, and it just worked out perfectly. And I just so happy I was able to do it for him. And yeah, just it was a great moment. It was a great show. The atmosphere was off the charts. Plus Hacker was there. It was just the perfect night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about hackers. So a lot of people who don't know Scotty O, the hacker, had some unfortunate bad luck tail end of last year, or I guess mid last year, had a brain aneurysm, I believe,
Yeah.
that ruptured and caused one of the OGs in Ontario Indies, one of the guys who is so well versed and known in the wrestling scene out here as one of the greatest performers in the ring and one of the most humblest yet locker room leaders in every locker room that he's in. People just look up to him because he is that kind of a guy. Unfortunate that he had that, and but from what I've seen and what I read, he's bouncing back and he's getting his stuff together, and hopefully there's an in-ring return, down the pipe,
Yeah.
not right now, but in the distant future,
Yeah.
if he feels that spark. And that's the thing, you never really lose the spark, right? How many people step outside the
Yeah.
ring and they always want to go, I got to go out one more. Look at Edge, came back just to go out on his terms. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So having a hacker there, definitely a positive. But the Ontario indie scene came together. GoFundMe pages started. People just gave so much, and there was that great calendar that all of you guys put out with shooting the indies. Shout out to Jeffrey Cole there for
Yeah.
getting that project together. $40. I have the calendar. Actually, I'm not sure which. I got to take off the wall. Which month are you, Steve? Did I pass you already?
I'm the shortest month. I'm February by
Okay.
request.
Why was that the request? Why 28 days, bro?
Come on. No
Oh,
one
I get
wants.
it. Nobody
No
wants to
one
look at
wants
Steve
this
Brown.
mug on their wall for longer than 28 days.
Right on. But it was great. The charity work that was done for him and everything like that. And when you got the news, because I know you and Hacker are really, really close. When you got the news that everything had happened, what was running through your head, knowing that one of your friends was kind of fighting that fight for his life?
I literally, I woke up and came out, checked my phone, and there was a message from his wife. We had like a group chat there. She messaged as him in the group chat, and I literally was looking at my phone, just going, "Fuck, fuck!" Like I was in shock. Like it was just like it didn't like hit me. And then when Michelle woke up, I went and I told her, and I read it out loud. That hit me, and it was just like, can't you say like being gutted? It was just, you know, one thing I can say that I realized when I wasn't able to talk to him, and that like I think he was my therapist. Like I could tell him everything. He would tell me I'm an idiot. He would have great advice. It was such a hard thing to read. And then, see, I don't want to come, see, I don't want to be an asshole, but I feel like a lot of people just kind of latched onto it that didn't even really know him. And that was kind of annoying. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like, you know, I don't know. I can't even put that into words, but at the time, I think it kind of made me mad. But now, after, like everybody, stepped up and it, it all ended up being all good. But just there was a moment where, like, I don't know if I was just like so upset about it that things were making me mad. But yeah. But now, like, he's not, you know, he's pretty much like him. Like, you talk to him. I'm sorry to say that I haven't seen him in a few weeks, maybe about a month, and I really need to go see him. But uh, just when you see those posts online, like last week, he's like on the toilet reading a Playboy. It's like that's so him, And like I just can see him being like he's saying to his wife, "Yeah, I got an idea for a picture," like And then like the same day, there's him like weed whacking, but he's like sitting in his wheelchair. He's like paying his room and board. Like that's just him. It's awesome, and you know locker rooms have not been the same without him. I could definitely say that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I could see that, and I had a chance to get him on the show very early on in the days of Straight Talk, and actually had plans to get him back. And then the unfortunate news broke out. I kind of stayed away. I mean, I donated to the GoFundMe pages. I helped where I could, and but again, it wasn't somebody that's in my inner circle. So I'm not just gonna, be one of those people that when he gets out of everything and he's getting back into recovery mode, I'm not gonna be like, hey, now's the perfect time to talk about all your things, because that just makes
Yeah.
you seem like a piece of shit. I'll be honest. There are some podcasters out there who probably reached out to him right away and were like, "Hey, man, I'd love to get you back on the show." And it's like,
Yeah, that jerk Emmanuel Mello. No, I'm kidding.
"Hey, you said I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing."
No, Mello's family. So it's like,
Yeah, Mello for sure.
if
And
it
it was a
was gonna
great
be,
article. Great article
yeah,
that he wrote.
it was great, and the podcast was just really funny. Like just listening to him again, like I can't tell you, like when he uh when he was in the coma, like I would listen to so many episodes of Wrestling with Myself, and it was usually episodes where he was by himself and just listening like to him. I'd be like driving, and I'd get like teary eyed and stuff, like because at the time like I just wanted to talk to my friend, and it's like, and like I said, now I feel bad, like I was having car issues. I know wrestlers, we're millionaires, shouldn't have car issues, but like now those are like behind me, and I'm like thinking like next week I'm gonna go see him. I'm just gonna surprise him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel bad, but at the same time, he can't remember anyway. So I'm kidding.
I'm sure he knows that in his heart. There's a Bonecrusher inside there, and you're always
Yeah.
you always got each other's backs. Now, let's talk about something else that you're into. You mentioned with the mini host horror movies, Sunset Crypt. I know you're deeply involved in that as well. So was Hacker and Jeff T. Smith, aka Jungle Boy's bromance,
Yeah.
as
Well,
I call it. He
I'd
loves
say Jungle Boy Stalker, but
Yeah, again, I didn't want to say
I'm
it. You
kidding.
said
I'm
it.
kidding.
You said it. No, but Jeff's a great guy. Jeff and I, our personalities don't exactly mesh all the time, but Jeff is a great guy.
No, yeah.
I'm a bit of an asshole, and he's also a bit of an asshole, but sometimes I guess my assholeness gets above me.
No,
No.
he is way more than a bit of an asshole. But
Yeah, you
it's
said
one of
it.
those things, like it's like, yeah, that guy's an asshole, but he's my asshole, so
Okay. Right.
it's okay. But yeah, no.
Quoting Triple H, I like it. Yeah, that wrestler's
Yeah,
fine, but he's my asshole. Yeah.
you know what? I've used that line twice since I listened to that interview.
And
It
one
was
of them
just
here right now.
yeah. It was a great analogy. I was like, yeah, that's really
Yeah.
how stuff is. Yeah.
So Jeff is your asshole.
No comment.
No
But
comment.
no,
No.
he it's funny. He has this like aura about him, where a lot of people don't know how to take him. And to me, he's just my nerdy friend Jeff that I talk about horror movies and action figures with, and we watch horror movies, we watch wrestling. We're just good. He's one of my best friends, but he also pisses me off more than anybody I know.
Well, he does have some strong opinions. Him and I have butted head more than a few occasions on, and this is something I'd like to get your opinion on. I don't know if you were involved.
Sorry to interrupt. He doesn't have strong opinions. He has wrong opinions.
Thank you. Yes. Steve Brown knows.
Me and him butt heads about everything.
Okay, perfect. Just to give everybody some context, we were on Schwa Wars, which is kind of on hiatus right now, with my commentary partner Adam the cocksucker Hayes.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I hate Hayes.
Sea sucker Hayes, huh?
Yeah, sea sucker Hayes, man. He's huge. All right, wait till you see me at the next show, the next New Frontier show. I got a sweet shirt made by
Can't
Curtis
wait.
Rich, aka Gumby. He hooked me up with the shirt. I'm gonna
Can't
wear
wait.
it all night. It's gonna be
Sweet.
amazing. I don't want to give it away.
All right.
But so Jeff and I butted heads on the fact that I went to film school. Film history was kind of my minor. Major was film and television production. So I watched a lot of movies over the course of the 24 months that I was in film school, studied them, dissected them, blew them up, tore them down, all that kind of stuff. And got to study some of my favorite directors: John Carpenter, Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese. Again, paying homage to the late great Wes Craven, Freddy Krueger, again, Nightmare on Elm Street, one of my all-time favorite series as well. And I just really appreciated these movies even more because I was on the inside now, and I was able to see exactly where their minds were and the way they chose how to tell the stories. And then comes along Rob Zombie, and he shits all over the entire franchise. Fucking ruined it for me in a lot of ways. And Jeff and I butted heads on that to the point where he said that we should, when we were breaking down franchises in horror movies, he said, "Oh, we have to include Rob Zombie in Halloween." I absolutely fucking not. Rob Zombie ruined everything to do. He made Michael Myers a giant piece of metal loving fucktardedness. It was not the Michael that I knew. Michael that I knew was sadistic and slow and methodical. That Michael was just angry, pissed off emo kid. So what's your thoughts? Like, not to get into my rant again. Jeff and I we patched things up. We've agreed to disagree. What's your opinion? Should Rob Zombie's 2 films be included in the Halloween multiverse?
Well, definitely is, because it's like it's a reboot. I actually really, really like the first one.
Okay.
And I know what you're saying, because he's like, actually, I listened to Jeff turned me on to this podcast. It's called Halloweenies. It was a podcast that was started. They were following. They were talking about the Halloween movies leading up to Halloween 2018.
Right.
And then they ended up, after that, they did like Friday the 13th, Nightmare, Scream. They just finished Evil Dead. But I've been re-listening to them, and they kind of like said something like I always kind of knew, but I wasn't really thinking about, that the original Michael Myers is, like you said, he's methodical. He's stalking, he's playing games. And Rob Zombies is just a beast, and he just bludgeons people. Like, you watch that old movie, he'll stab somebody. They're dead. In the old ones. In Rob Zombies, multiple stab wounds, takes a guy's head, bashes it against a wall a bunch of times, like Joe Grizzly when he beats him up in the bathroom, just hammer it, So that, I'm not gonna say I dislike. I think it's more of its time, because the time those were made was like after Saw and things like that, more like the torture, they call it the torture porn type horror. So on that note, they're different. So I look at them differently. But H2, as they called it when it was coming out, the second Rob Zombie movie, when I first saw it, I liked it, but I was like, some stuff. And then upon watching it more, I don't like it at all. It's really hard. It's like, it's literally vanilla and chocolate, to bring up another Triple H interview thing. But like, I love those movies, and just give me any kind of Michael Myers, And at that point, this is coming off Resurrection, which totally destroy. Jeff would argue that Resurrection's good, because that's what Jeff does. Jeff will take the movies or the wrestling writers named like Vince Russo and talk about how good they are. But I think it's just part of him being a shithead, like, be like, I'm gonna like everything everybody else dislikes. Like, everybody wants chocolate and vanilla. Jeff's like, oh, no, I got some sardine flavored ice cream. That's really good, and then he would argue with you about how it's so much better than chocolate and vanilla. You know what I mean? But I just think it's of different times, because even the new Halloween movies, like the new trilogy, he's a little bit more brutal. And I think that's just coming off, like, again, the times. But
right,
if I'm like, man, I want to watch Halloween movies, I'm watching 1 to 6, and then maybe I'll rewatch 1, and then I'll watch like Halloween 2018, and then Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends when it comes out. Like I'll watch them separately. You know what I mean? Like because they're their own like. It's funny because it's totally a multiverse because original timeline. This is going. People have probably switched this off. The original timeline is Halloween 1, Halloween 2. They're the same night.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to get away from it. Season of the Witch, which I will argue is a great horror movie, not a good Halloween movie.
No,
Halloween
I would
2,
agree. I would agree.
You know, like if they did Halloween 1 and then Season of the Witch, I think people would look back on it more fondly because it's like, oh, okay, it's different. But when you went Halloween and Halloween 2, both with Michael Myers, and then switched it up, that's why people were pissed. So Halloween 1 and 2, then you got what is called the Thorn trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. And I know a YouTuber that calls it the Pink Panther trilogy because it's the Return, the Revenge, and the Curse of Michael Myers, just like the Return of the Pink Panther, Revenge, you know. So I'll watch those, and then I'll be like, you know what? Now I want to watch Halloween 1 and 2, and then I'll watch H2O, and I'll watch Resurrection. And then now with the new trilogy, I'll watch Halloween 1 and then pick it up. But sometimes I will put on the Rob Zombie one, but I never get through the second one. I'm like, okay, on to the next. Okay, nope, can't watch it. So I get your point, and I get Jeff's point. And it's like I said, Jeff's point is a little bit of I'm going to be against what everyone else likes. But at the same time, I saw both those movies with him, and it was genuine. Like I really like the first Rob Zombie one, so I get where he's coming from on that. But that second one, like the more we watch it, it just I can't believe that a studio allowed that movie to get made. Like so yeah, so Michael Myers now is a hobo, and yeah. So what for a year he just walked through the woods? Like he was only a few miles away from Haddonfield, like the town. And then there was an accident. He got up. You know what I mean? So, come on. What a piece of crap.
I honestly, I do agree with you on that. I do agree with you, but we'll switch back to wrestling. But there you go. Jeff, we've put it to bed now completely. I've gotten Steve Brown's opinion on it. I'm done. I'm done. I will agree to disagree. See, when I watch the Halloweens, just to wrap this up real quick, I go 1 to 6 for sure. Actually, sometimes I'll go 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and I'll put Season of the Witch at the end just because I want it to feel different. And then I will bring in H2O, and then I will skip Rob Zombie completely, and then I'll go to Halloween, then Halloween Kills, and then obviously the end when it comes out. But Rob Zombie is left out of my particular universe in all aspects. I love his original stuff, House of a Thousand Corpses and all that stuff. That stuff's great. Give me more of that. Even the 3 from Hell. I love 3 from Hell. A lot of people thought it was a weak end to the trilogy, but I love 3 from Hell. I really thought it was enjoyable. My favorite one obviously being Devil's Rejects. Just, I mean, if you're gonna go out in a blaze of glory, what a soundtrack to go out on.
Yeah.
What a soundtrack.
I only seen Devil's Rejects. Like the first time I ever watched it was maybe 6 years ago. I watched it once. I used to work at Club 108, 107 in Mississauga. And for some reason on the rock nights, the DJ, there was like screens and would just play movies. And that was one movie. So I couldn't hear it, but I remember seeing it and then I watched it. But yeah, no, I like Devil's Rejects. It's crazy.
No, it's pretty fucking awesome. And give me stay in your original lane. Like go do, but I feel like there's some movies that shouldn't be touched. And I guess we'll go off kilter again real quick. But there are some movies that the original is the original. If you're gonna remake a classic, you got to do it right. And I feel like the new trilogy for Halloween has done it right. They paid respect to the original because he's still, even in the new ones, he's a little bit, he's more grimy, but he's also very, very methodical still. very
Yeah.
slow paced, very calculated. And that's what I loved about Michael Myers. Yeah, Michael Myers didn't talk. Michael Myers didn't say much, but Michael Myers was one of those guys, didn't talk, but carried a big stick. And I always found that Michael Myers was very calculated. And every
Yeah.
move he make was pre-planned. I'm doing this, 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 and this. And I feel like they pay homage to that one so perfectly. And I think the big thing for me is I'm such a Loomis freak. I love Loomis. And I feel like the casting in the first one, King Koopa can't deal with you, buddy. Can't deal with you. Like, you were King Koopa in the awful Super Mario Brothers role. I can't look at you and think, oh, look, it's Loomis. It's not Loomis. You're not Loomis. You're not. You can never be Donald Pleasance. I'm sorry.
Are you talking about Malcolm McDowell?
Yeah.
He was not King Koopa.
Sorry, my apologies.
Dennis Hopper's King Koopa.
Dennis
But
Hopper.
I get what you're saying.
No,
it's a
Tank
tough,
Girl. He was the bad guy in Tank Girl, which came out at the same time. Yeah, my apologies.
Yeah.
I got them wrong. Okay, I got them wrong,
but
Steve.
no. Hey, no. You know what? I didn't like his Loomis either.
Thank you. Okay, so there you go. Now, I know Jeff's going to comment on this. This will be the part where I see a comment from Jeff when I drop it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fucked up, Joe. Whatever. Jungle Boy got squashed it all out. Just saying. So
Ricochet lost at what was it? The When Worlds Collide too. So.
Oh yeah. No, he got. It's not pretty. That's why, to go back to wrestling, I mean, like 20 years in the business in terms of being a booker, but also being a talent. What do you like more? I mean, there's the stress of the booker where there's just being the performer. I mean, obviously you just want to be the performer, go out and wrestle. But when you're booking, there's obviously a lot more pressure, right?
Yeah. And the way I am, I take too much on. Like, I go to these other promotions I work for, and there's so many people helping, and they have roles and stuff. And I'm not saying people don't help me, but the important things, it's all me. So it's very hard on like a show to be like, yeah, maybe I'll work this guy. But I gotta be at the front door. I gotta run around and do this and that, So I have stated that to a couple people. There's a few guys that I do trust that I said, if they're interested, I'm gonna kind of take them on and give them more of a role so I can wrestle more, because it's like, I'm sure it's got to be crazy for fans. Like, there's fans that come to NSW that go to every other show. They see me, on Superkick Wrestling. Fans at CWF, I'm wrestling, like GCW, I'm wrestling. And then they come to NSW and I'm just sitting there at the front door, It's just like, I gotta let my guard down and just trust that people, and on show days I get so like frustrated because I'll be like, have something in my mind and like for like we're setting up and I'm like, yeah guys, can you just do this, then it looks like shit and I'm just like, just gonna do it myself then, I gotta do less of that and more, just okay, this is your job, this is your job, this is your job. I'm wrestling today. I'm going to be downstairs. And if you need me, come and get me. If not, like I also find like when I have like an idea for a storyline or in a match, I need to be downstairs so I can really relay what it is I want to see. Because sometimes it's like, it was all right, but it's not quite what I wanted. And maybe if I was more hands-on with it before. So it's very frustrating to answer your question. But the funny thing is I love doing both. Like I own NSW and I book NSW. But I don't know, a lot of people know, but I also book for Great Canadian Wrestling. And sometimes those shows fall like like right now, like this Saturday, Ajax at the Ajax Downs, there's a GCW show. Next Friday, 6 days after, is NSW. So I'm like focusing my attention on both, and it's just sometimes it's like not saying I don't want to do it because I love it. I love being creative. It's just I got to just learn to be like, hey, I'm gonna work on this. Now I'm gonna work on this. All right, good. But at GCW, I wrestle because it's not all me. I just say, hey, this is what we're doing. The owner of the company, he's there, and he comes to me with stuff, and I help and stuff like. But it's less pressure, and it's not all on me. So I think maybe I enjoy my time there a little bit more. But I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Just it's stressful, but at the same time, it's like I couldn't imagine not doing it. Like I've been wrestling for 20 years. In November, it's 19 years that I've been promoting. So it's like they've always been like hand in hand, and they've gone together. So it's not. There's never really been a time when I'm just like, oh, I remember that period where I just wrestled, or I remember that time I just, So I don't. Yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this long-winded answer.
It's all good. There
You
was
get
one
what I'm
promotion,
saying.
one promotion you left off the plate, which is New Frontier Pro, which is a great new
Yes.
upstart promotion. And you are currently, right now, as it stands, you and one other person on the roster are undefeated. That's you and Tarek. Undefeated. Right now, you've both gone 4-0. We would have had our fifth show a couple weeks ago, but unfortunately there was emergency circumstances in a family, in a member of the roster's family member. So the matchmaker chose, if we couldn't have him at the show, we're gonna put the whole thing on the show. Now we're all in the same group with the matchmaker. Again, we don't know who this fucking guy or girl is. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Steve, looking at your experiences thus far with the matchmaker, could you throw out a guess as to who this person may be?
I'll be honest, no.
No.
And that's because I haven't really thought about it, because things are kind of going my way. And that's what, like, when you're a wrestler, as long as you're, I'm winning. I'm, I start to wonder about who the matchmaker is, when I see people that haven't won any matches getting championship shots, which I brought up in the promo. I'm 4-0, but 2 of those matches have been VIP matches. They weren't on Fight Network. That makes me wonder who the matchmaker is, because I'm like, hey, give me some love on Fight Network. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think they haven't really done anything too stupid yet to make me really think about it. But now I am thinking about it. I wonder who it could be. It's like this whole anonymous thing. Like, maybe it's for the
annoying,
best,
right? I mean, the money just shows up in your account day before show, and you're told to show up at this time. That's it.
Hey, that's not bad, right? Like,
no, you're right. It's not.
You're going to the show, you're going to get paid. It's just, I think when, what's the saying? High tide raises all ships, right? So like, while stuff's going good, no one's really going to think about it. Now, somebody that, has been getting their ass kicked on the first 4 shows, or not getting opportunities, they might be trying to figure out who it is so they could start messaging them. So it's kind of ingenious, because I'll tell you, and see, wrestlers are going to hear this and be like, oh shit, I should never message Steve. But I hate when you get those messages as a promoter or as a booker. And what I hate is, it's like people that want to get booked, they never go to your show. They've never been to your show. They don't know what it's all about. Like, I'm very old school, and you can ask anyone, if you come and you help out and I see you and you're helping, you're going to get a match eventually. And you might even earn a spot. But if you never show up and I go and I look and you're not following it on uh
Socials.
on socials or anything like that, you're going to the bottom of my list. Like, don't just message me because you're a wrestler and you want to do every show. It's not going to fly. Show that there's some interest and you're not just looking for a payday. And if that's what you're looking for, you're coming to the wrong guy.
So I got to ask this because, as we all know, Tarek is a talent, and he's 4-0 like yourself. You're also a talent, and he has that mouthpiece, that piece of garbage, that piece of trash who I say every show just hitched his wagon on to this hybrid athlete of all hybrid athletes. Now, you being undefeated, Tarek being undefeated, collision course at some point, will you answer the Mark Ass Buster challenge?
I don't know. Maybe.
Hmm.
I don't want to be considered a Mark ass buster.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, even though it's an open challenge, I'm sure Hayes has some sort of what would you call it? Like
Under the
he's
desk
make
ability with the matchmaker.
yeah, he's like making sure like it isn't like someone too dangerous answering that. You know what I mean?
I like that. So he's paper
So
championing up Tarek, eh? Huh.
well, I wouldn't say that because Tarek's awesome.
No, Tarek can kick everyone's ass.
You know, and well, most people.
That's true. Most people.
But yeah, I don't know. I think just Hayes, like you said, he hitched his wagon to like the thoroughbred,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and he's 4-0. But if that turns around and in a few months he's 4-4, or 4-5, 4-6, maybe Hayes isn't there anymore.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so. I'd love to see Hayes get smacked. I'd love to see Hayes get punched, kicked, and chopped by Tarek. I would love that shit. I would love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, though. Not going to happen. Final couple questions, and I'll let you go enjoy your evening. In terms of your career thus far, again, 20 years. Congratulations on that. It's an amazing accomplishment in this crazy world that we're involved in. Looking back at all the opponents you've had and all the matches that you've had, all the gold you've had, all the gold you've lost, and all that kind of stuff, all wrapped into one bundle. If you could look back at everything and pick one match in your career and say that right there is the best version of Steve Brown, or that opponent brings out the best in the Bonecrusher when they're in the ring together. Either give me an opponent or give me a particular match if you can narrow it down.
I have 4 opponents.
Okay.
That have always, when I've wrestled them, it's always brought out the best. Del Bruno, O'Shea, All Ego, Mr. Ethan Page, and Lionel Knight. Anytime I've wrestled them, I know it's going to be awesome because they're my friends, so it's going to be fun. But at the same time, like, they all care and they want to have a great match, and they're going to do whatever they can to have a great match. But one match that stands out, which I think is the best of myself, would be me versus Ricky Shane Page from Alpha One. It was on my birthday. I wrestled him for the Alpha Male and the CZW World Title. That was probably like in like WCW, there was this point when Ric Flair said how he lost all his confidence and he just kind of was going through the motions. I think I was kind of at that point, and that match brought like the fire back, if I could. And after that, I had like a really great stretch after that where the confidence was there, and it lasted for a bit, and then it went away again. And I'd say only recently, maybe the last 4 or 5 months, I've really confidence is growing again, and I'm like getting into the groove. But that match is by far probably one of the best, and it's on YouTube. Alpha One Wrestling. You can go on their YouTube channel, type it in. It's there. I'm very proud of it. But yeah, it was good. It was like two big guys, and we killed it. And that was on a crazy show that had like Josh and Kobe in an Iron Man match. And like to be remembered with that match really says something about how great it was, you know.
Absolutely. Well, you say the confidence came back. That's weird. For the last 4 to 5 months, I've been in your life more personally in the last 4 to 5. I feel like it's me. I feel like it's
Hey,
me.
look at that. Thanks, man.
It's because every time you come out at fucking New Frontier, I'm right there, and I'm like, I'm there. I love it. Bonecrusher. You come out to Bonecrusher, it's amazing. All right, my final question. That we're gonna play a real quick game. You've been on again the promoting side and the talent side. I'm sure you've been recently hearing, everyone in the wrestling world is hearing about the post-media scrum from CM Punk and all that kind of stuff. And I have to ask your opinion because, like I said, you're an aficionado in this business. You've been around, you've seen a lot, you've dealt with a lot of personalities. If you're a booker or an owner of NSW and your champion comes out there and shits over your pretty much all the big players in your entire roster, would you not strip the title of him right then and there and send him packing to say, I'm not going to have you representing the NSW brand? Or do you ride this wave? Or do you believe, like some people believe, this is a giant work that's just going to pay off in the match that we all want to see, which is like CM Punk and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in this like implosion type match? I don't know how they would work it off the top of my head. Do you think this is a work? Would you strip the title from him? Or would you sit there and be like Tony Khan and be like, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, but I don't. But I'm scared.
See, I don't. You could see in his eyes that he does not agree. Because even when he first brings up the name Scott Colton, he like looks like side-eyed, and he's just like, like, oh boy. But it has crossed my mind that this might be a work because that's all you've heard about. WWE did a huge show on the weekend, and nobody's talking about that. Everybody's talking about this. Now, there are some things CM Punk said that I do agree with. I do believe, first of all, right off the bat, I love AEW. I make sure I watch AEW. Yeah, I enjoy it because it reminds me of the best of WCW and the best of ECW, like rolled into one, and I love it. Now, there is some times where I feel people aren't being serious enough, and I'm a jokey guy, and I've had my moments where I like to make everyone laugh and stuff, but when you need to be serious and it's a serious moment, it's gotta be serious. And there's something Punk said. He said he's hurt, he's old, he's hurt, and he works with a bunch of children. And so many times on shows, I feel like that. And it's like he shouldn't have said EVPs. He should have said some people. He should have called them out like that. But at the same time, if they're letting stories get out, they're not really caring about the promotion. You know what I mean? Like, I always found it funny in AEW. There's like the Dynamite and the Rampage, and then there's Being the Elite, which kind of like breaks that fourth wall and everything. It's like I think once Dynamite started, Being the Elite should have stopped. And there's got to be something because there was 4 EVPs, and now there's 3. So that old saying, if there's smoke, there's usually fire, right? There's probably something that we're not all knowing about. Now, I think Punk handled it wrong, and I love Hangman Adam Page, And I didn't even realize when he cut that promo that he was like going into business for himself when they did that promo before what was it, Double or Nothing?
Mm-hmm.
That apparently is the whole reason for this. And it's like with Punk, it's like, why wait so long to say something?
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Remains to be seen. We'll see what happens tonight, right?
Absolutely. As we are pre-recording this, the week after, well, a couple days after All Out on a Wednesday, it's Dynamite Day, and I think that's a great way to end it. Steve, thank you so much for your insight. And now the game. Are you ready for the game? It's really simple.
Sure.
Steve. It's
Sure.
called Forced Mount Rushmore. I
Okay.
pick 5 wrestlers at random,
Okay.
and you have to put them in order of 1 to 5, but 1 being the least likely on that Mount Rushmore for you, and 5 being the best one out of the 5 that I've given you on that Mount Rushmore. And that's why
Okay.
it's forced, because you don't get to pick them, I do.
Yeah. Cool.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, well, since we just finished talking about him, CM Punk, that's one of the names.
Okay.
Second, because you quoted him a couple times, he's also one of my all-time favorites next to Sting. That's Triple H.
Okay.
Third one, because we're both Canadian boys, we love wrestling. The man right behind me, Bret the Hitman Hart. That's number 3. Number 4, the Phenom, the Undertaker. All right, just because I just saw the toy out of my eye right there, and
All right.
and just because he's one of my favorite big man, and you're also one of my favorite big man, I'm going to give it to Fred Ottman, aka Tugboat. So out of those 5, how would you rank them? 1 being your least favorite on that list, and 5 being the best on that list.
I really want to say Bret Hart first. I'm gonna say Tugboat.
Okay.
Shockmaster. Just not because I didn't like him, but he really didn't have that long of a run.
Mm-hmm.
And but the other 4 world champions and stuff. So on that, I'm gonna say him.
Okay.
Number 2 is definitely Bret Hart.
Okay.
I'm the worst Canadian ever. I'm probably the worst Calgarian ever. In 1994, before WrestleMania 10, I wanted Lex Luger to come out of WrestleMania world champion. I did not want Bret Hart. Recently at a crossbody show, I stirred things up a little bit in the locker room while I was saying that Bret Hart's the most overrated of all time. And I named off 10 better Canadian wrestlers than Bret Hart. And so he's number 2. I'm gonna put Triple H number 3, and that's not because I don't think he's good. He was great, but there was a period, like 3 or 4 years, man, where he didn't do nobody in the company any favors, and he destroyed, like, case in point right here, Elimination Chamber. He's the world champion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In that match, there was one other heel. It was Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had RVD, Booker T, Kane, Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4 top baby faces, viable contenders. But right before that match, he beat Kane, unified the IC title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever. He beats Kane, he beats RVD, he wins the title back from Shawn. He destroys Booker T at WrestleMania 18. I don't mean like in the match he destroyed him. Like any heat Booker T had, he was at his peak going into that. He put the extinguisher out on it. And RVD, I think it's one of the biggest missed opportunities in WWE. They never pulled the trigger when he was hot enough. Like even when he got the belt after, it was like too late. You know what I mean? Like it felt too late. So he dismantled all those baby faces. And it took them to bring in Goldberg. And then he dismantled Goldberg. He dismantled Nash. Like there was no viable contenders until Benoit, So for that reason, I'm going to say 3 because he did a lot of damage. And then Undertaker, no. CM Punk, just because I like CM Punk a lot. I used to love him in ROH, love them in WWE. I like him now, even this media scrum, because I'm very like weary if this is a work or not, you know. But just for my list, I say Punk and then Undertaker, because he's the best. He like came in at the top, stayed on top the whole time. How many guys can say that? Came in year later, beat Hogan for the title. That's insane. One of the few guys to beat Hulk Hogan for a world championship twice. So
You're right. You're right. I like it.
yeah.
I think I gave you an easy force Mount Rushmore. I should have been harder.
I think you did, yeah.
It's because I'm a little bit timid. I'm afraid of you, Steve.
Were you when I said the Brett thing though? Were you kind of like, oh, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
You know what, I was, but at the same time, I appreciate Bret Hart, but I am an Owen Hart guy. Owen Hart was always my favorite member of the Hart family.
I think Owen is the best Hart.
I would agree.
I think he's better than Bret. I think if he never passed, we still didn't. I don't think he truly hit his peak.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So
WrestleMania 10 is one of my favorite matches of all time. Also, Owen got the W. So you got to give him that. Owen got the W.
he did.
He got a clean too. He got a clean.
Yeah.
Yep, he did. He got a clean W. I like it. Steve Brown, Bonecrusher. Tell everyone on the wonderful world of social media where they can follow you and everything NSW and everything that you want them to follow. I mean, even Sunset Crypt as well.
Sunset Crypt. I have to admit, after everything happened with Kurt, I haven't contributed that much, and I thought maybe it was going to be tucked away. But Jeff has kind of resurrected it, so I have a couple articles that I want to get up there. That's sunsetcrypt.com. There you can find links to NSW and to my podcast, When Geeks Collide, a YouTube channel, just all things nerdy. NSW, New School Wrestling on all the socials, or NSW's back. You'll find us. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/New School Wrestling. We got a show. When's this going to air?
It's going to air 2 Thursdays from now. 3 Thursdays from now, so end of September.
Okay, well, we had a show September 16th, and hopefully it was really good. But October 29th,
there you
Hamilton, with Pro Wrestling Ontario. It's Once Upon a Time in Hamilton, Part 2, at the Germania Club. It's going to be great. The last one was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I like working with them. I'm friends with them. I like them. And I like working with New Frontier. I just want wrestling to better,
Mm-hmm.
And also, please check out Great Canadian Wrestling. Shows happening constantly. October 15th in Hamilton, also at the Germania Club. Check that out. And October 1st in Oshawa and October 2nd in Peterborough. Check those out. Shows have been great. The Peterborough venue, it's called The Venue. It's an amazing venue to hold wrestling. It's 3 levels. It's awesome. So yeah, check out gcwe.ca. And yeah, for me, just Instagram, Renowned Crusher, Twitter, Instagram, Renowned Crusher, is it? I don't know. Just type in Bonecrusher Steve Brown. I pop up.
Type in Bonecrusher Steve Brown. I pop up. You'll see me there.
Yeah. Renowned Crusher? Yeah. I think so.
Here, hold on. Let me just go on Instagram. Jesus. Let me go on Instagram and find you. My God. Here we go. Here. Yeah, you're right. Renowned Crusher. Yeah.
So I don't know what Twitter is. Renowned Brown. Twitter's Renowned Brown. Twitter's Renowned Brown. Instagram's Renowned Crusher.
There you go. And don't look him up on Facebook, and don't DM him on Facebook, okay? If you don't follow NSW, don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it. All right, Steve, my dude, my brother. I appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. Peace, love, and wrestling, guys. No, it's my honor, dude. It's my honor. Peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Later.
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week for another great episode on all available podcast platforms and hosted on Podbean. Also, check us out on YouTube at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Instagram at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Facebook at Straight Talk Wrestling, and on Twitter at _Straight Talk. And if you feel the need to buy some sweet merch, check us out on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Leaving the scene with no trace, not in my league. You out of place. I'm not at the top, I'm outer space. Can't eat with us, we're out of place. I'm doing fine, I'm feeling great. You're not my fan, you can't relate. Straight talk going